Alright, so. Now that it's time, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the main story again, shall we? Let's go ahead and speak with Alice to take on the Level Lady main story quest entitled The End of a World. Alice is steeling herself for the task ahead. It's intimidating, yes, but we have to start somewhere. Why don't we have a closer look at that tower to the southeast? We might be able to reach it from the edge of the trench. Yeah, I'm okay now. So off we go to investigate some imposing dwarves, apparently. So I guess these must be them? Well, maybe not. Amaurot Heights, huh? Yeah, Square Enix, what have you created here? Where are the doors? Here we are. Yeah, they put them on the opposite side. Of course they did. Yeah, I'm not going to change back to my old school glamour until after we get to an Aetheryte at least. But we do know why there is one in here. Look at the size of those dolls. Now I know how pixies must feel. Shinji Okuri recognized. Welcome to the city of Amaurot. Will you be riding the lifts? How does he know who I am? Did the building just welcome you? Mayhap it is not so passing strange. Did Emet-Selch not invite Shinji to visit his abode? 'Tis plain thy coming was expected. And where will this lift be taking us? The lift services every level of Amaurot Heights, but is presently configured to convey passengers directly to the ground floor. Alright then. Well, there you have it. In the absence of some few hundred yards of rope, we have little choice but to accept the offer. With the emphasis on we, I'm not about to let you walk into that place alone. Yeah, I wouldn't want it any other way. Alright. I wish to ride the lift, or, yeah, let's just say I wish to ride the lift. Let's be nice to this. As you wish, the lift arrives shortly. Yeah, I may need to get more water at some point. Because my throat's getting dry. Next stop, ground floor. Facilities include the Bureau of the Administrator, the Bureau of the Architect, and the Capital. Yeah, in fact, my voice is starting to get some dry spots in the throat, so I'm probably gonna just get some now, so I'll be back in a moment. It's only at this distance that you start to realize just how big the buildings truly are. What did that voice call the city? Amaurot? Look, over there. Is that a person? Ah, no, my mistake. That's a giant. It doesn't seem to have noticed this yet. Trying to know, a resident of this place may have made much more to tell us. I say we make the first move. Alpha, no, you can't just... Ah! Yeah, hello there, creepy face. Pray excuse my boldness, but might I ask you a few questions? Yeah, hello there. It's nice to meet you. Oh, what adorable costumes. Are you children on an excursion? This district has much to teach you. How odd. That sounded like no language I've ever heard, and yet I understood every word. Just as they understood us. And what district is this exactly? You must be lost, poor things. You stand in the Pollenhere district, wherein lie the institutions most vital to the management of our star. Yeah. Can you tell us where to find Emet-Selch, or who rules the city? First things first. I see. You've come to marvel at the workings of the convocation of 14. Hardly surprising, I suppose. The whole world holds its breath as the final days draw near, and our brightest minds race to implement their plans. He even takes a knee to us to try and get closer. Thus, you must understand that gaining an audience at this time will be next to impossible. You should hurry home now before your families begin to worry. Do you need me to walk you back? Can we change the laws like we can in Xenobatos? No, thank you, we'll be fine. Very well. Take care, little ones. What was that all about? To my eyes, these people appear as arcane entities. I suspect Emet-Selch wove them from ether, much as he reconstructed the rest of the city. Yeah, let's ponder this. The final days. Such words well befit the oblivion described to us by our Arcean foe. A catastrophe of unprecedented scale which did set in motion the summoning of Zodiac and thence Heidelin herself. But that happened centuries and centuries ago, didn't it? That man spoke as if they were rushing to avert the disaster here and now. Where's the point us? Unless, for these people, the distant past is the here and now. I believe thou hast the right of it, Master Ophenode. This ethereal Amaurot and its residents appear to be phantoms of a different age. Emet-Selch hath resurrected a memory, a moment in time from before the star was sundered. So we find ourselves in a long-destroyed city inhabited by the long-departed. An unusual situation to be sure, but at least we're able to parley with these ancients. In fact, they seem downright eager to chat. I say we use this to our advantage, split up, strike up some conversations, and we'll see if we can't learn the location of our quarry. And while we're at it, it wouldn't hurt to wheel out a few more details regarding this convocation of 14 and their impending disaster. Sounds like a good idea. To mingling then. Let us meet back here when our jaws start aching. Well, the back of my throat's already starting to ache, if that counts to anything. Or amounts to anything. Alright, so we gotta keep revealing more of the map. I'll see who the first person is we need to speak to, or the first ghost, possibly. And it does look like we can go through the door. Into the Hall of Rhetoric to meet this optimistic Amaurot teen. 'Twould seem the hall is host to a most precocious visitor this day. And what, pray tell, shall be the subject of our discussion, young one? Well, can you tell us about this? The convocation and the handling of the coming peril. 'Tis only natural that you should have questions. Shall we begin with the members themselves? As you know, the 14 are the wisest and most puissant among us. They are the stewards of order, responsible for decisions which keep this star turning season after season. Be it the Speaker La Habrea or the Emissary Elidibus, each seat is occupied by an elected sage of surpassing intellect. Well, La Habrea wasn't that smart. Logrif, Mitron, Emet-Selch, their individual titles have, as a gesture of respect and a manner of tradition, become synonymous with their incumbents. Thus it is with great incredulity that I greet this recent rumor that a seat in the convocation is soon to be left vacant. If proven true, 'twould be an unprecedented development and testament to the immense pressure on which our saviors are toiling. In any event, I for one am confident that they shall deliver our star unto salvation. And he just disappears. So let's go over to this anxious Amaurot teen. Good gracious child, where is your family? You should not be alone at a time like this. Run along home, quickly now. Have you not heard? Though yet confined to the lands across the sea, a terrible phenomenon afflicts our star. They are calling it the final days. 'Tis said that it starts suddenly, a cacophonous keening from beneath the earth. The sound distorts all living things within earshot and wrests from us control of our creation magics. Once that happens, all is lost. Fear, pain, despair, every dread impulse is siphoned from our minds and given substance. An eternal fall of fiery rain, an incessant spawning of nightmarish beasts. None can point to the source of the phenomenon. 'Tis as if the star itself has fallen ill, as if a force inimical to life now festers and spreads. 'Tis only a matter of time until Amaurot 2 resounds to that discordant squall. You should stay with your loved ones, child. Stay with them. And so he disappears too. And now let's go find our third. And so now individual number 3 will be over here. A pragmatic Amaurot team. An audience with Emet-Selch? I'm afraid you have the wrong office, little one, and besides, he'll be far too busy to field the questions of curious children. Surely you have been told of the looming catastrophe. Every resource available to the convocation must be spent upon ensuring our world survives. They have yet to make an official announcement, but it is said the 14 are moving forward with a plan of scarce, credible proportions. One which promises to grant will to the very star itself. They will invoke our mightiest spells of creation to birth an entity of all-encompassing magnificence, and then they will rewrite the laws of existence, which sounds very disturbing. 'Tis a huge undertaking, and it must be completed ere the corruption spreads this far. Thus I say to you again, do not hold out hope for an audience. Yeah. Back over to Alpha Node. Shinji, if I was not sent before, then I am now. The people of this city believe they face the end of the world. I cannot imagine what purpose compelled Emet-Selch to recreate this ancient Amaurot. And yet I fancy I hear his words whilst echoing through this ocean trench. He would have his story known. So even more materia. We'll go ahead and take some more of it for ourselves. And now here's where the side quests come in. The 3 required side quests. And yet one is an 80 and the others are 70s? Oh no, they're all 70s. Yeah, here's the question. Are they all chain quests? That's what I want to know. Are they all chain quests? Well, let's start finding out by speaking with this patronizing Amaurotine, and yes, they are. Okay. We'll come back to this then. As much as I want to have all the ether currents available, yeah, we'll just focus on this for now. So let's go ahead and take on our next challenge entitled A Greater Purpose. Alpha Node is awaiting the return of your other companions. We can compare notes once the others return. Hopefully then our next move will become clear. It would seem our conversations were much alike. A looming disaster, creation magics running rampant, and this convocation's efforts to bring salvation out of chaos. I suppose there was talk of little else in the time when these events came to pass. Oriange, if I may, what are your thoughts on the ancient art of creation? A fascinating discipline indeed. Aught the mind can conceive may be rendered in reality. All that is required is a clear concept upon which to focus one's will. It is not dissimilar to the primal rites taught by the Ascians, wherein ritual ceremony breatheth life into figments of myth and legend. I see we arrived at the same conclusion then. The people who lived in the age before the Sundering were blessed with vast reserves of mana. No matter how draining these creation magics must be, it seems they paid their cost with not more than a fraction of the ether which coursed through their own bodies. If we were to attempt the same, such spells would soon deplete our energies and then seek to draw the balance from elsewhere, from a hoard of crystals mayhap, or from the very land itself. Thus, when this art of creation was placed into our hands, it became, in effect, a means for destruction. An interesting matter which no doubt bears further study, but despite all these revelations, I worry we are no close to finding Emet-Selch. Has anyone now learned aught of what might lead us to his location? Not directly, mayhap, but from what we have heard, it seems the convocation of 14 is sequestered in the nearby Capitol building. When we went to see for ourselves, the attendant wouldn't let us through without written permission. So we tried to look at the Bureau of the Administrator where we thought these permissions might be issued, but the clerk said that he couldn't help us since our names didn't appear in the registry. And that was where we gave up. I wonder though, Shinji, could you be eligible for one of these writs? The voice in the lift seemed to know who you were. It might be that your name is registered at the bureaus as well. Worth a look, I'd say. Alright then. Meanwhile, I'll head back to the capital and search for less official points of entry, just in case. Pray allow me to accompany thee on thy reconnaissance. An arcane perspective may prove needful. I think I'd like to speak with more of these ancients. Maybe they should know something that could cure Shinji's condition. Would you mind coming with me? Oh, come on, Alistair. Of course I don't mind, just lead the way. Yeah, come on, Alistair, you can do it. Then Ishtola and I will busy ourselves with further explanation. There is surely more intelligence to be had. And so we part ways once more. This time, however, let us reconvene in the front of the capital. Oh, they're not chains. Okay. Yeah, when I see pictures, I immediately think chains. When I see pictures associated with quests, I typically think chains. But yeah, don't worry, we will get those. So off we go. And so... wow, yeah, that guy just spawned right in front of us. Also, Aether Current to the left. If we're allowed to reach it. Yeah, in fact, it may be the only way to get down to where we need to go. Alright. Get the Aetherite. Got it. Alright, keep going. Yeah, we're gonna drive a motorcycle right through the doors. Hey there, clerk. Visitor's writ. Yes, I can assist you. Full name, please. Shinji Okuri. Please wait near the counter while I confirm your details. Alright. Government bureaucracy at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. And also there's shops over here. Although, they don't seem to be directly in here. Shinji Okuri, your application is ready for collection. Okay, so yeah, Bureau Provisioner and a Mender is over on the right, I'm guessing. More specifically, a Reconditioner. Alright. Back to the clerk. As your residency was approved by Emet-Selch himself, further forms of identification will not be required. Here are your application documents. Submit them at the Bureau of the Secretariat and the clerk will issue you with a visitor's writ for the capital. Alright, so how are we gonna get over there then? Yeah, because it doesn't look like we can go that way. So we'll have to go over this way. And then we can come down here. Wait a minute. Why are you picking a fight? I guess that comes later? It's like, why are you picking a fight? So yeah, there are actually bad guys in this place. Yeah, it's not a pure haven. It's not a full-fledged sanctuary. I'm guessing the Cubists are the corrupted versions of the people we've been meeting to this point. So, through the doors once again. Also, what's with all these benches? Hello there, clerk. Next, please. Yeah, as in the only one, please. Here you go. Visiting the capital, are we? Please take a seat. Your name will be called once your application has been processed. Hopefully I'm not waiting here for an eternity like these people. Until sometime later, which hopefully is not an eternity. I'm sitting cross-legged apparently. And it's a bad time to end up having this happen. Yeah, this is still going on. Oh, hello there. Yeah, you snapped us out of it. Good job. Yeah, maybe a conversation is just what we needed. You, I think, are from a time beyond ours, have followed in the wake of Emet-Selch. Well, can we necessarily say that? Nay, there is no cause for alarm. I am simply a shade here and not here. I know only that my name is Hythdatus, and that this city is a recreation, a phantom moment plucked from the well of history. Yeah, we kind of suspected as much. These others seem unaware of their pale existence, but I wonder if Emet-Selch's mind was distracted when it came to my reconstruction. Why is that? A stray thought would have been enough. Hythdatus, yeah, it's even hard to say his name, will realize the truth, for example. We were once close friends, you see. Yet in spite of my perception, I play the same role as all the rest. A bit part means to bring color and noise to this well-crafted stage. Too much scrutiny and we shall burst like the fragile bubbles we are. Thus I tell you again, my presence is not to concern you. I wish only to share your company whilst we wait. If you come this far, then you know the catastrophe which waits us on Amaurot. Do tell. The final days, what began as isolated incidents soon swelled into a world-spanning threat. The convocation of 14, while it was 13 at the time, endeavored to create a world for our star. They would repair the fundamental laws of order and halt the spread of destruction. But creation on such a scale required an immense source of power. Of those of us who still lived, nearly half offered up their lives in the name of salvation. Yeah, just disappeared into thin air. And from their sacrifice, Zodiark was born just as we had hoped. He reached forth and halted the march of oblivion. And oh, how the star had suffered. So many species lost, the land was blighted, the waters poisoned, and even the wind had ceased to blow. Once more did our people give of themselves to Zodiark. Another half of our race sacrificed to cleanse the world, to ensure that trees and grasses and myriad tiny lives would sprout and grow and flourish. The cycle of life had begun anew, and we would consider the means by which we might protect it. The convocation decided thus. We would nurture our world until it was bursting with vitality, then when the time was right, we would offer some portion of its living energy to Zodiark. In return, he would restore to us those brethren whose souls had fed his strength, and together we would resume our role as stewards. There are, however, those who disagree with this plan. They argued that enough had been sacrificed to Zodiark, that this new world should belong to the lives newly born. These dissidents surrendered their life energies in the creation of Heidelin, an incarnation of their opposing belief, and for the first time in our history, our people stood divided. Know you then how this conflict ended? Oh, we do. I thought you might. Yeah, there he is. Where have you been? Emet-Selch has ever been a champion for the will of Zodiark. That's obvious. That's pretty obvious. The original plan may have been set back by millennia, but he will have not abandoned his course. He will pay the price for a return by whatever means is necessary. And though he may carry himself with a certain glib ease, Emet-Selch is not a man to bear his burdens lightly. In fact, I imagine they have only grown heavier with every passing century. It is truly a terrible weight he has chosen to carry. And so... Oh, they're being called. Well, man whose name I have a hard time pronouncing, it was sure nice talking to you. It seems your turn has come, pray do not let me keep you. Ah, but there was one last thing. You walk with another at your side, yes? Ah, you knew, didn't you? Nay, I see no defendant form, but just the faintest suggestion of a second soul. I doubt it visible to anyone but me. Otherwise, I assume only you can see and hear this ethereal companion? Yeah, that's right. You can even laugh, too. Your connection is hardly a coincidence. In our time, the two of you were one. The color of your souls tells the tale. A hue that distinctive cannot be mistaken no matter how thin the soul is spread. This is just the kind of fate I might expect for one such as he. Surely Emet-Selch has recognized the hint of him in you? Yeah, we're being called here. Fare you well, my new old friend. May you find what it is you seek. And also, new old friend. And just like that, he was gone. Yeah, time to finally meet you again. Hello. Your visitor's writ as requested. When you wish to gain admittance to the capital, simply present the document to the attendant within. And we can take it back over closer to the Aetherite. Alright. Let's find out where they are. Yeah, there's still more of the city to cover. We haven't even covered the whole thing. Alright, thankfully we're back. Fondly, you were gone so long I was on the verge of mounting a rescue party. How fared you in your bureaucratic ventures? We got what we needed. I see my instincts were correct. And a good thing too. Oriange and I weighed our chances in of breaking into the capital, and an official entrance is by far the most attractive option. The capital boasteth not a single armed sentry. 'Twould seem that in their time they did not deem it needful to post guards, even though there are corrupted monsters roaming the city. The windows and doors, however, appear heavily warded. Though mightily did we strive with strength mundane and magical, We failed to budge them even a fraction of 1 ilm. Mayhap 'twas simply the case that Emet-Selch's recreation did not extend to their usual function. We didn't try everything, of course, but we thought it best to conserve our time and energy for more pressing matters. Speaking of which, Reen and I tried asking about a cure for you. But judging by Reen's sunken head, we didn't get it. The problem is, these ancients didn't exist beyond Amaurot today. They will happily tell their own tales, but whenever we attempted to explain our situation, the conversation quickly became muddled. What's on your mind, Ishtola? What of you, Shinji? Was there aught worthy of interest said during your efforts to obtain a writ? Oh, yeah. There was a lot. Yeah, let's tell you everything that was told to us. A great sacrifice of life in exchange for the Brethren's resurrection. And you say all the Ascian's scheming has been leading to this? That's right. All this time. But if they still mean to enact this plan, then things won't end with the rejoining. Was that ever going to be something that wasn't going to happen? Hi, I thought we knew their intentions in full. Restore the world to its former glory and in turn empower Zodiac to reclaim his throne as the will of the star. Yet that was merely a step along the way. I hesitate to put it into words, but we have to assume that following the final rejoining, the Ascians mean to draw on the lives of the Source to make their sacrifice to Zodiac. Pretty much what I was thinking. That does seem the most likely scenario. Mayhap those who ally with the Ascians will be spared that fate. But what value is there in surviving when all of our history, all of our struggles will be erased? I cannot conscience such an act. Of course not, and that's to say not of what Emet-Selch plans for the Exarch's power. Do we stand by and let him threaten our future as well as our past? We need to find him, Shinji, and when we do... Yeah, we'll be ready. Make your mark. Change the course of history in a way that's felt by those who came before and those who came after. By everyone you've ever met. Change things so that even my other self, dying somewhere in that future calamity, will smile and say, I knew you would win. Hey there, Mira, welcome back. Is fighting Emet-Selch the only way? And why are we asking? He created an entire city. It will take everything we have to defeat him if we even can. And if you push that hard in your current state, the light will break free. That decision to personalize lies with you, just as it lies with each and every one of us. Yeah, as we pan to our various members of the Scions, and of course Reen as well. And so we'll take our Tier 7 materia again, Aether Current, and more Quick Arm 7.